evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Wednesday Night Live. This is Unbridled, and I'm Carly, represented by Saddle Up LLC. Tonight we have two special guests on, Linda Ahrens and Thomas Ahrens.
How's
Hi,
everyone doing
everyone.
tonight?
We are
So-
on. I am on travel, and I am coming live from a DoubleTree Hotel in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Ooh, exciting. What's the weather like up there?
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
It's cool, but apparently this is about as hot as it gets up here. Their winter
what's the
stuff.
temperature?
78, light
Ooh,
breeze.
pretty. Sounds very nice. Have you gotten to do any like touristy stuff or just at work?
Just work, business dinners, that kind of thing.
Tom,
Talk to
how's your day?
locals.
My day is doing really well. Thank you guys really so much for having me back on the show. I know last episode, Kenny was telling me that I was fantastic and I was funny. I felt like I shouldn't be allowed here. Maybe I should be arrested. But the fact that your community accepted me back, I appreciate it.
Yes, we do appreciate what you have to say, even if most of the time we disagree with you.
That's why I married this, because I'm a masochist.
So, MA2, let's go ahead and explain who you ride for, what your team is, what your team dynamic is, who you ride with, the division that you ride in, and then we can get into the nitty gritties of what it's like to not only be riding together on your team in the division that you ride in and be successful at it, but also be mother and son. What's that dynamic like?
Well, if I may start with, I would like to start by a brief thing here, which is the views and opinions expressed in this communication are solely those of Linda and Thomas Ahrens. They are not the official policy or position of the Border Patrol team. Any content provided is a personal nature and should not be attributed to the organization of Border Patrol, Michelle, Kimberly, or Carol Ann. This is just Thomas and Linda Ahrens' opinion. So now that I said that, and my lawyer put the gun down. Put the gun down. I said it. Thank you. Okay, we're good to go. So, Linda, would you like to go first or would you like me? Oh, nope. That just blew her
Apparently,
out.
Thomas is going first.
So I get to go first. So
she's back.
Oh, she's back. Fantastic.
I'm back. I don't guess my phone timed out. I don't know. We'll just keep track of that. We both ride for Border Patrol. The reason we're called that is because part of the team originally, half of it was from Canada, and the other half, of course, from the States. It is now Michelle Khrushchev's team. Has Carol Ann O'Connor, Kim Welniak, Thomas Ahrens, and myself. And Tommy Bates. And we have a good dynamic. It works very, very well. We don't fight. We encourage each other in our own ways. Don't spoon feed anybody.
So my opinion is this. I didn't get to be at MA1, sadly, because I was hurt. I actually, back, and my mom can vouch for this, I think it was between the ages of 18 and 24, I cracked a vertebrae. I didn't break it, but that bulged a big disc. And at the time, it was an issue. I got a couple injections. I was fine. I was young. And then last year, for some reason, it flared up. I went to Mrs. Campbell up in Pennsylvania, and we got an injection late this year. I did physical therapy, and I had to miss MA1. So MA2 was my first time riding. So that kind of set the precedence of getting the whole band back together for MA2. And I'm not going to lie, I was out of shape. I really was. I finally got healthy again. I felt good about 2 weeks beforehand. I rode at Jenny's Pairs competition up in Lovettsville. I felt like I did pretty good for the lack of riding I had. And I didn't feel like I was getting hurt when I rode, which was important.
Right.
And that was great. But after the Pairs competition, I was sore. And I was like, crap, that was a bad idea. I was really sore going into MA2. And what I love about writing about this team is it's just the chemistry, because we are all, I'm going to say I think we're type A's. We're very competitive. We all are, which is fine, because when you have a bunch of type A's together, it's never boring. It really is not. And we gel well because we all have the same kind of wavelength. And if it wasn't Border Patrol, I probably wouldn't have ridden because it would be like, I don't want to get hurt or I'm too sore. But with them, it's like, well, I don't want to let them down because they're competitive. And that's something that I really do enjoy.
I agree. We all are type A personalities, but it is perceived in different ways. And that's what makes it work. Mm-hmm. And it's not directed towards any other team. I think we ride in the 025 team. And
you think we ride in 025? Have you seen punk rock out there? Okay.
We ride in the 025 division, and we have a very competitive yet supportive division. We ride hard against the teams, and you can be very competitive against them, but as soon as you are done, it's like, oh, that was fantastic competition. We had a great time riding against you. And the way the division is set up now, they actually assign you lanes based on how you previously finished. Mm-hmm. So your top competitors are right next to you, so you can't hide from them. Right? It used to be that you could kind of like hide from them so that you couldn't get them in your head, so you could stay separated. But they don't allow that anymore.
No.
And I like it. The top team, your competitive team is right next to you, and that goes all the way through the division. And we're typically 6 to 9 teams out there. And I think that really, I love the competition between it. And I like how our dynamic of our team is, because even though we're all type A personalities, even if you mess up, we're ribbing you. And it's in a good way. So it really gets you able to get ready for the next, get out of your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. So Tommy, what's it like riding with your mom on a team together? Because let me just preface it with this. When Border Patrol asked you to ride with them, I was like, I don't think this is going to work. I think Tom's personality might be too, what's the PC
abrasive
word? That's the word I was going to say, but then I was going to try to tone it down. Might be a little bit too bombastic for the dynamic of the team that you ride with, especially, with your mom, and your teammates might not like that you and your mom are perfectly fine going head to head and having, kind of more banter, more dialogue than they're used to. What's that like?
I think culturally you need to understand the way that we were raised. My dad played about 250 softball games a year. Like, my daycare was the baseball field. If it wasn't there, I was at the soccer field watching my mother play soccer or throwing punches at people on the field, whatever. But it was a culture of competition. And what grew up was this mentality of what happens between the lines is different than outside the lines. Because when you're truly competing, you become a different person. And we grew up in a culture where that was allowed. If you got upset on the field, that wasn't taken like that's who you are off the field, that you are allowed to be a little bit more passionate. You had a little bit more leniency. And that's how we grew up doing it. So whether it was my dad or my mom, it's like, it's one thing to be upset or be one way in between the lines. It's if you took that outside the baseball field, it's like, yeah, you can't do that outside it. You can't do that. And I think that follows to where when we compete, we are different people. We can communicate at a different level because we've all competed before. Like, and unless you grow up as an athlete, you will never understand this. And I don't know how else to say it. It's almost like anyone that's in a specialty field or the military, whatever, is like, unless you're in it, you don't understand that culture of competition. But since I was 6, I've competed on teams. I just have. My mother has, my dad has. That culture of understanding the team mentality of like, okay, once you walk into that arena, we can yell at each other, whatever. But like, once you're outside that, it's gone. It's done. Poof. We're different people anymore. And that is something that we've always had, that chemistry, that we can banter off the arena. But when you're inside the field of battle, that's like church. That's holy ground. You act differently in there. Whatever stays in the ring, it stays in the ring. And then when you leave, you're back to being a normal person. And I think that's one thing I find different about the equine world versus sports is a lot of people not everyone, but a lot of people aren't used to team sport mentality there, where that's what it is. Like, okay, yeah, someone got passionate in their ring.
Mhm.
It's because they care. It's not like, oh, they're going to send me hate letters at 2 a.m. It's like, no, that's how much they enjoy the sport.
Mhm.
And you know, when you leave the arena, the soccer field, the football field, that's not what they're thinking about at 2 a.m. when they go back home to their family. It was just at that moment.
It's a cool perspective. What do you think, Linda?
As he was saying, we banter a lot, as everybody knows, off the field, but actually we've matured because we've played together a couple different times over the years. And it used to be that there was, because he was still learning to ride, because Tommy didn't start riding and really until he was like 20, 21. And during those times, he rode Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades was a 14-2 draft. Sweet as can be. But Tommy couldn't get him to canter because Tommy was learning to ride. And he would get
sofa. The
sofa, yes. Literally, he would go out there and trot, and he's like, what is wrong with this creature? Why can't he move? And I'd get on him and get him to canter. And he's like, I hate you. You know, but now that he knows how to ride and he understands the sport, we banter off the field, but on the field, I leave the bantering to him and Kim, and it's not even banter then. It is, if you set yourself up, you're going to get ribbed about something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never in a negative way.
Yeah, and competitive teams are like that. Like if you do something horrifically stupid, you're going to banter about it because that's how you like break the tension. You don't let it stew. And that's whether it's soccer, football, baseball. It's like if somebody's handoff looks like they have Parkinson's, you're going to make a joke about it because it's better than bottling that up and not saying anything. It cleans the tension and you can move on.
Right. Genevieve's Ace was a draft gypsy pony. So thick.
Oh, he was. I loved him.
You'll have to show me pictures. I don't think I've seen.
Actually, can I share
it?
I've never been on this side of the spectrum, honestly, when it comes to podcasts. Can I share my screen?
I don't know. Give it a try.
Can you?
All right. Well, here you go. You got to like click accept.
Oh, is that him?
Mm-hmm. This is our first. Whoop, wrong way. That's our first ribbon. I think that's Blue. That's Adam. I think
okay, Blue was the pony. Adam is the person.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Blue.
He's pointing with his mouse. I don't know if you can see it on your tiny phone.
No.
Where the hell is Kimberly? That's Krista. That's Linda when she was doing blonde. I did not ride Kimberly. No, you're correct. That's Krista. That's Kimberly in the background. That's Kelsey.
Oh, you're right.
That's Trace. Oh, like Caitlin Thor. Okay.
Now this is back in old school days.
That was my first competition ever.
Oh.
That was the horse that gave Krista a brand new leg.
The black and white paint was Ace of Spades.
He is a chunk. Wow. I love it.
He is. It
was a very cushiony sofa.
Yes, he was. And he could canter, but, think of Simon at 14-2. He's a little faster than Simon, but that was about the same he was a little smoother. He could jump, though.
How cute. Tom, Rebecca Soto has commented twice so far. She's asked what year this is.
2010.
2010. She also said that she remembers being on a team with both her parents and definitely misses it.
Yeah, I haven't, sadly, my dad gave up competition before I was born, it feels like. But no, it was like when I was young. So my mother was the only one I could compete with. And, oh, Lord, you are right, Tom. What am I right about?
She thought it was 2014. Well, she said probably 2014. She's trying to answer.
Well, if you actually can read up in the top right, it says Mid-Atlantic 2010.
It depends on how large your screen is,
and
Tom.
It says
I have a
Jenny
big
Aarons,
desktop
too.
screen, and I can't even really see it.
So, yeah, but anyway.
Cute.
Oh, and hold on. I don't know if I can do this. So Jenny will give a prize away if, based on these photos, you can tell what place we were at for this
Do I get
competition.
the answer?
I think I know the answer. No, Linda's cheating.
Because I don't think we go there anymore.
Now, this, to give you another clue, was when we were fossils. That's
Okay.
when
The
the
team
division was
name.
called Fossils.
Zoe says Doswell.
Zoe wins
Yep,
Woo!
Doswell.
Hey, Zoe.
Why did we stop going to Doswell?
because we got too big and we had to move to grass. And the last time we rode there, several Masters riders fell hard because
Their horses were
was
taken
slick.
out on a
Yeah.
horse ambulance.
Because of the grass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They slipped. It just.
Yeah.
But we keep going to Jersey because of grass?
Well,
Is the grass different?
Well,
that
yes.
footing's different.
it is different because what it was is that is where we were riding was kind of a parking lot for when they did fairs and stuff. So the
Yeah.
grass was
Oh.
extremely short.
Gotcha.
And the shorter the grass, the less grip the horse has.
I don't think
And-
there was a lot of turf either. There was like something underneath.
It was sand.
Yeah.
There's sand there, but there was also, I think one of the problems was there was like you'd have like the firm sand, and then there was almost like a sand pit in one lane.
right.
So
and
if
it
you
was really
weren't
strange.
careful,
And like a whole patch of gravel. But Tom, in New Jersey, like that's actually like a cross country course. That footing
Yeah.
is specifically designed for the wear and tear of horses. And so that's the difference between Doswell and New Jersey.
I didn't know the grass size would have anything to do with grip strength. That's interesting.
yeah, the hoof gets to catch a little bit more than when it's perfectly smooth.
So yeah, that's how I got started in riding. I got to be on her team for some odd reason. It's, again, as everyone knows, I think we mentioned this on the old episode too, if you want to go back and check it out. But I had 3 reconstructive shoulder surgeries, and that kind of like put a tamper on my life for 3 years. And so that's when I got kind of into gaming as well. So
And from there, we destroyed other body parts with various horses. Your back,
thank you.
your ankle.
Jenny told me this is supposed to be PG-13.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't
It is
gonna mention it, but-
PG-13. She's just going to talk about your ankle and your back.
I didn't know where she was going with that. So it's like, I just wanted to make sure. It's like, oh crap, we're going to get demonetized in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh.
He
I-
did. He
No,
did
no, no,
tear
no.
his groin muscle, which is
Right.
PG.
Tom didn't think it was PG at the time.
It's just like, I don't
What?
know when she's going
No.
to make a slip up.
And
Of
I
this
can't
wholesome crowd.
remember. We have had one thing that Genevieve has done to keep, partially from love of it, but also partially keep our farm and land use, is we would go
Hey.
to
Oh,
Carolyn's in the house.
should I repeat the other thing?
Carolyn. But anyway,
ahead, Heather.
Genevieve would go pull horses from auction. And by doing so, I think Tom's gone through, 4 or 5 horses? And one of them went right and Tommy didn't. He went straight and fell through the fence and pinned
Oh, Swayze.
equestrian.
Stop my heart.
Yeah.
Stop my
No, it actually bruised my heart because we went to the hospital
did.
because
Yeah.
it was like back at the Grange.
Mm.
And
It was at
I
the
was
Grange when it was wood.
until I went through the fence. And I basically went through. So what happened was I didn't tighten up the saddle a little bit more. It was an Arab. And he bounced, and then went right real quick to do the turn. And the saddle went like that real quick. And I got thrown into the post. And I straddled the post. This mic was the post. And it hit right here. And I actually broke the post. The post and everything went. It hit so hard. And it was the weirdest feeling to have the breath knocked out of you. And apparently what happened is my heart hit my rib cage. Which was a lot of fun. Which is allegedly that's what the doctor said.
That's pretty dangerous. What you said that was Swayze?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Swayze. I'll get a picture of Swayze up. He was cute. Actually, I liked him.
Was he the Arab?
Yeah.
Yes.
He literally, the positive is he taught me about my seat more. The negative is he almost killed me.
And who did your ankle?
That was Firecracker or Annie?
No, Annie.
I think it
We
was
didn't have a
Fancy.
fair-
I think it was Fancy Firecracker.
Oh, maybe.
Because of 2013, before I was going to go to Australia. Because I remember
Yeah.
I vaulted and I pulled my
Tore
groin
you. Yeah.
on the vault, and it was stepping stones. I went up and I jumped and I felt a pop, and I was like, I got to dismount. When I dismounted in front of her, and the foot hit and she stepped on it and buckled it.
Nice. Rebecca Soto says she misses games and she may come watch us at Nationals. That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
Definitely come say hi. Tom, Genevieve mentioned that you need to ask 2 more questions, and please make them harder than the last question because she has 2 more ribbons to give away. So, throughout the show, be ready to ask questions.
What is Thomas's favorite game? Because you'll never get that. So there you go.
That's
worth
that's a hard question.
$100 Sheaf gift card because you'll never get it right. Okay, fine.
No. A ribbon, and you're going to have to eventually give them the answer. There's only 27 races?
Yeah, no problem.
Everybody just go down the race list. Somebody will get it right.
Ooh. Here's a good one.
Carol Hansen 3 mug.
That doesn't count.
Why not?
You don't count.
You said they'll never guess it right, and it was literally the first guess.
Oh, okay, here you go. Linda, what's the place that we go to in Jersey now?
I don't know. I mean,
Well, that doesn't help my...
we have Dream Park.
No,
it's a New Jersey Horse Park.
Yeah.
Where was the old place we went and had nationals in New Jersey that also had a pause because of torrential downpours?
I don't remember the name of it.
You were never around.
It was, I think. You act like I wasn't alive.
Possibly. You are 19 or whatever. Alabama's got different laws.
Rudy was my last game's pony. I think he's still competing. Yeah, Rudy is.
Yes, Rudy is. Yeah.
Every place we've ever been, Thomas, is Carol Ann's question on the New Jersey Horse Park. Is that right, Tom?
That's where I believe that's the one that we ride in the field on. That's the New Jersey Horse Park.
It's the place Adam hit Rosie over the top of the head with a Canadian stick and broke it in half. That's where Aftershock won by the biggest margin.
Oh, yes.
In history. We won by 150 points. Border Patrol will never, Punk Rock will never win by that much. It was sad.
Show off.
No, it was not showing off. It was
okay.
too
so
much.
Let's backstory on that one. On that team, you had Adam on a pony named Rosie, who spent more time in the air than on the ground.
Oh,
with her feet.
Those?
Yeah, I mean, you think she was 14.2, so when she leaped over cones and stuff, she really leaped. Thomas, I think, had been riding 2 years,
Annie?
3 years.
Was that Annie at that point? Is either Annie?
No, Fancy, I think. Billy had been riding 1. Genevieve. Yep, Cece. Genevieve was on. Oh shoot. She's on the gray.
On the gray. She's had multiple grays.
No, only one gray games pony.
Halo.
Nope.
Is not a gray.
That wasn't her games pony. We actually got that for Tommy or Billy.
Oh.
But anyway,
Pepper.
Yeah.
Carolyn wins that one.
They could not be an open. They just did not have the riding skills. And so they were in intermediate.
Genevieve said, "Yeah, mom disappoint."
But they that's the only division they had available for them, and unfortunately they were competing against poor Sadie
Children.
Children. Yeah.
And y'all
Children.
were adults. But
Yes.
you were adults, but your skill level wasn't open level. Yeah. Where else were
they
you
weren't
supposed to ride?
adults. They were still teenagers. Billy
As
was
Tommy
still in
was
high
20
school.
years old.
28.
Well, he was 5 years. No, you were not there.
You were not.
He was born an old soul.
I was drinking, you know.
Genevieve wants to know how many horses Tom has ridden.
Actually, it's insane. I think I've ridden more than Billy, right? I know it
Yes,
started with
I think you had
Ace, Gwen, Ace
Yeah.
and Gwen, Annie, Blue for a hot minute, Fancy Firecracker died. It was Swayze. Swayze was
died?
in there. Yes, I'm reincarnated. Holy Spirit.
no, you said dying.
Well, I got hurt in between those two horses.
Oh.
Swayze
Oh.
was in there in that mix. And then after Swayze and Firecracker is when I got Charlie. And I rode DJ too a little bit in competition.
You rode DJ a little bit and
Cece. Chip for a hot minute, and then Cece, I think is what his name was.
No, you never rode CC.
Did I not? Okay,
He
cool.
killed you.
And you said Charlie, right?
Yes.
Compared to the other horses I rode.
Yeah. How we come to get Charlie was DJ got hurt. He stepped on something and gave himself a really, really bad stone bruise. And after 6 months, I contacted his previous owner, and they agreed to take him for some time to see if he would heal from it. And we started shopping for a pony for very picky me. I mean, when you have the best pony in games, as far as I'm concerned, it's very hard to find a replacement. But we got a pony named Diamond. I really loved her, Appy. And she was doing pretty well. Now she did I jumped off and went
Save
to
that
reach
for later.
something.
Save that for later.
And
Sorry,
she reared
continue.
straight up and fell over in front of Diane Hickok.
You
were
fell
riding?
off?
No, I had jumped off and I went to move forward to grab something, and she didn't like the pressure on her head, so she backed up, hit the pressure even more, and reared straight up. Lost her balance and fell down. In the meantime, Diane had gotten back on and was starting and had that fall. Carol Ann, as I was riding with Carol Ann, told Genevieve, who was on DJ, you got to get your mother off that horse. She's going to kill her.
Aww.
So Genevieve begrudgingly gave up DJ. And we were working with Diamond, and she was doing well. And then we went to Doswell, and Adam came to ride. And halfway through, she goes, I'm not doing this. And she refused to go across the line.
Aww.
And so instead of pushing it, we talked to the Shays, Shannon Shay, and they said they would take her on to try to find her a home because she was so typey and so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having problems selling her, and they go, how about if we trade? We have this great games pony for Thomas. And that's what we did. We traded, and they got Diamond and we got Charlie.
So that's one half of the story. And we gotta put a pin in that because I have something to ask you too.
So many things.
I was told by my family, and I think it could be correct in most circumstances, that a mare is literally the greatest thing ever. That if you go into the desert and you do the right ritual to Hakai and you soul bond with it, it'll be the greatest thing ever. And after 78 mares, it was like, this shit ain't working. And it's funny because everyone else is riding a gelding. And so it's like, I think I want to ride something with a penis. So that I got Charlie, and it was like, I was tired of bouncing horses. And this is the one thing I found about with gaming.
You said to keep it PG.
Well, you know what? So I think the one thing here that I realized with gaming is like, it's not just about the rider, it's also the animal. It's both. You know, you can be the best rider, and if you're not on the right horse, you're not going to be good. If you have a great horse, but you're not good, it's not going to work. There has to be that click. And I was just ready for that horse that I could just hop on, and that was like, we could actually form a relationship and chill. And when I hopped on Charlie, it was something about the vibes. It's like, this is something where it wasn't perfect at the beginning. It was not. But what I felt was like, we could make this work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing, is I remember Mom saying like, okay, he's too short back. You're going to go over the top. There were issues with him. He runs like a...
He's the longest back in the world.
No,
I
mean,
never said he had a short back.
He's like a dachshund. It's like front end is here and his back end is like all over there.
Short neck because he's running downhill.
Oh, short
Yes.
neck.
No,
Short neck, yes.
You guys are worse than Twitter. My God, I had no time to edit that thing before goddamn all hell broke loose. Jesus. But anyway, yeah, because when you are on him at first, it's like you're on a roller coaster and you're about to go over the edge. It's like, ooh, like what's going to happen? But thanks to going to Australia and surviving that and getting the stock saddles, where, knock on wood, ever since I got the stock saddle, it has a ton of issues. I'll never be able to have children for one of it. But I can't fall out of the saddle. If he does anything where he drops or trips because of those, I know this now, they're not called thigh gaps. Thank you, Lynette. They're thigh blocks. Because of the thigh blocks, you can't fall out. And so with that saddle and Charlie, I didn't have any fear of like, oh, I'm going to do something stupid and break my neck. And so I really had more trust, to where I think our synergy really worked over the countless years. And he's durable. I mean, he's gotten hit by a 3F. I mean, he's gotten hit by a 3F50.
You do like him durable.
And now
I can't say that because I'm married to you. All right, so
Darn tootin' there, Stanley.
we're gonna move on to a great question.
No, I have
on.
a question. I have a question. Hold on. So basically, there's
guess the park.
What's your question?
So take that question off. I got two questions here for Linda. Linda, two questions. So one, based on the story you told earlier, was DJ the greatest gift Jenny gave you? And number two, would you pick DJ or Richard? Now that one you're supposed to
There's
say
two questions.
no comment.
Answer the first one first.
Just answer the first one.
First one, I don't know. I think the best one.
If you don't know, people watching, Jenny is off camera.
I think it was Blue.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Why?
Rosetta Blue. She was.
Sorry,
It's the comment. It's the comment.
What was the comment?
Carol Ann said DJ or Richard to ride. And we were worried Thomas couldn't keep it PG.
Sorry.
I think it would be Rosetta Blue first, because she actually we picked her up at auction, and she was for other. Oh my gosh, so many people rode her as well, but she was my pony. DJ is Genevieve's pony that she's lending me. It is really what it is. And
but after riding it for 38 years, is it still a lease?
okay, okay, never mind.
No, but hear me out. Let me get
my head right.
I'm going to get my head right. The point is, so if you guys, for the people that don't know that are watching, which is probably a very few.
Carly got it. Sorry.
Linda. Okay. So
Guys, we are running a family show. Could you guys please calm down?
We're trying. You just keep
you keep doing it, Tom.
I'm not doing anything. I am here trying to be civilized. I am running a proper thing as a guest here on a very civilized show. Anyway, apparently Linda is a savage. So,
according to Genevieve.
So
okay, Genevieve said he's your pony. LOL.
Yes, exactly. Now, can I bring this back? Can I bring this back, please? Please, here we go. Thank you.
Yes, but when am I going to get to read the comments?
Well, when you let me talk. I know this is hard. Marriage right here. So,
turn taking.
Do you guys know who Mackenzie Taylor is in the audience? Because Mackenzie Taylor didn't actually, spoiler warnings, own Inky.
No,
he didn't.
Inky was a rescue that was loaned, that she got to loan.
But the world knew it. It was Inky and Mackenzie.
Yep.
It is Linda and DJ. Tom was mushy. My God, no one will remember this in 3 seconds. She's like, oh shit, he's right. He was nice. What am I going to do about that? Oh, she blacked out. She stroked out. Tom was nice and she stroked out.
That wasn't you being mushy. You were just saying what other people's perspective is on a
Okay,
situation.
I need to interrupt. Genevieve, can you call your father and tell him I'll be off the podcast shortly?
Jen, we're counting on you. Anyway,
No.
I think. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really liked riding with Blue, but DJ is irreplaceable. It truly is. I was talking to Nancy Crowley. She's on Time Flies, and we were talking about our ponies because hers is also older. And we were talking about, we've been looking for backup ponies, and it's just when you have a perfect one like DJ, it's extremely hard. Unlike Carol Ann, who can just train hers up, her next perfect pony up.
If I may say something else super sweet and nice, which will be forgotten, it's like Val and Sprite. Like some horses, that's what they need is, fighters got to fight. That's what they know. It's what gives them joy and happiness. And it's almost like, and I think it's a case-by-case basis, so the comment section doesn't kill us, but some animals, some people, they need that. If you did be like, by the way, you're just going to rot in a field, that's not the best thing for them.
Yeah. Chip was like that. Genevieve's very first games pony was an Arab, but we rescued him. And she rode him for many years. Then Kimberly rode him, and Tommy tried to ride him. And again, it was very early on in Tommy's career and couldn't get him to canter. And he just got to the point where he had slowed way down, but every time we put him out to pasture going, okay, you've earned your retirement, he'd drop weight. He would look horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up finding him a place to go trail riding all the time, and he maintained his weight. But as soon as he didn't have that competition, like you were saying, kind of gave up on life is what he did.
Right.
And it's unique because I think we watched, it was either Secretariat or Seabiscuit about 2 years ago, and it really talked about that some animals are just different. They need it. And whether it's a person or an animal, that is a unique gift to find a creature that actually thinks that way.
I feel like
just
a lot
like
of
people,
ponies think that way. Yeah.
Especially in the
games
games
ponies.
too. Yeah.
All right. So let's say let's go down the comment section here. Who did it better? Genevieve? No.
I like how the crowd says it when it's just Jenny commenting.
It's not just Genevieve. Carolyn's in here too. Hold on.
That's two. Darn tootin'.
That's why I click on it so that I don't lose the comment. Okay, who did it better? 3 Mug, Linda or Thomas?
Linda, probably, because she's,
when
the patriarch.
When DJ is not stiff, DJ totally racks it better than Charlie.
When
Charlie likes to go a little bit wider.
Yeah, Charlie's turns are just a little bit wide sometimes. But if you can really sit back and get him to turn on each and every turn, then Charlie could totally beat DJ hands down.
Yeah.
Yep. When he's had his Butte and his Viagra, he is fantastic.
Linda says, or Carolyn says Linda wins.
Thanks, teammate.
Next race, who does it better?
So spoilers, I don't play this, so we've just hit Mike peak and we said I don't win, so it's just all downhill here from Tom.
You don't win. You're a great rider.
No, you're a great rider. You're not going to win any of these who does it better. But anyway, so litter. I don't play litter.
Yeah, you don't play litter. What other races do you play?
That was about it.
Any vaulting race.
Carton.
Anything where your youth comes in handy.
No, Carton. Carton's not a vaulting race. Who does it better?
DJ.
Again, just because we have a tighter turn.
Does anyone else
Charlie
see where
could
this is
totally
going?
outrunning.
Could you, I don't, DJ, on this episode of Tom's Depression,
No, Tom, you're faster.
yeah, it blowing
You
up
go-
the thing. The
No, you
Titanic
go
was real quick.
faster at your picks and everything. Like, you might have to check like a millisecond longer than Linda does
Who's
for the put.
better at mug shuffle?
Ah.
The fate of the gods. It depends on the day, honestly. That's like saying, yeah.
Little Charlie hesitates in the right spot. Charlie does really well.
Please go eat some protein.
Kimberly. Charlie is the hardest horse I have ever ridden for litter. I feel like no matter who's riding him, it's an incredibly hard race. I think Bella Pella even struggled riding litter with
He
Charlie.
gives you one turn,
Yeah.
and you have to time that turn right, and
Right.
it has to be behind. You just mentally have to think you're going to the fence,
Yeah.
because as soon as you think the turn, he's turning, which is typically over top of everything.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But if you can time that turn and you can do it at a gallop, he drops his shoulders so nicely in that turn.
Right. Carolyn says not me, and I don't know what that's in reference to.
Just life in general.
Not me.
A mug shuffle, it would be between Thomas and I would believe it'd be Thomas.
Oh, that's probably what Carolyn's talking about, not me
Yeah.
and Mug Shovel. I don't know. That's a toss up. I feel like when Tommy's on it, it's Tom. He goes faster.
Yeah.
Well, that's generous.
You're welcome.
The difference is I can keep DJ slower. I have 2 checks on that. After you pick the second mug, he's gone. So please time the put down.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh,
So-
joust.
Oh, that's a good one. Tommy. Oh, or sword.
Hands down. Between the two of us, Tommy's hands down.
Yeah.
Better at joust. And sword. So anything with eye and hand coordination, Tommy can do better.
So as long as he's younger or has younger hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, there you go.
There
What
we
you
go.
can see.
Give yourself a pat on the back. Take the compliment.
Did I do joust this last time?
Yeah,
I feel like we had. Did we
because
have?
I
joust?
don't. Actually, you're right. I don't think we did joust this competition. We did it at
Yeah.
MA1.
Not at MA2.
Thomas, what do you think we did differently
At MA2,
between
honestly,
MA1 to MA2?
you had me, which helps a lot. But besides that, I think the biggest thing that I learned in Australia from Phil back down there, you can never beat the person in front of you, but you can lose to the person behind you.
Mhm.
And when he said that, and so many of our practices over there, it really stuck with me that when you're racing, you're not racing against the people in front of you. And that blew my mind at the time, because whether it's horses, cars, whatever, you think you're racing the people ahead of you. And his point was, the only way you beat the people ahead of you 9 times out of 10 is if they mess up. Otherwise, you just can't beat them. You just can't. And your mindset needs to be like, you're not trying to gain on the person ahead of you. It's to maintain so you don't lose position to the people behind you. And when the people in front of you mess up, you're in a position to take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a long game perspective of, it's not about one race, it's about the whole weekend. And if you play with that mindset, his idea was you will win in the end because you'll never place dead last. You'll always be right there. And then you have the really fast team that they will mess up. They'll do something. But if you're just thinking like, don't gamble too much and just stay playing your race, in the end, you're going to go out on top. And I really appreciated that. And I think that's something that we do well, where it's about, we try to play fundamental. No one will understand this reference. If you do, you get to win a ribbon, but it's called fundamental baseball, fundamental soccer, about you just do those little things correctly and you don't worry about anything else. And I think that's what we do well. We try to do really good on our handoffs. We don't always try to be the fastest team, but we try to be the cleanest team. And I think that really plays.
Yeah, I had a coach in soccer, and pretty much the same philosophy. He says, play within yourself. That doesn't matter what this other team is. You know, we've practiced this and this and this. So play that. Play what you know. Play within yourself. Play, and in this case, and it's something that we talk about, Carol Ann and I, is ride the horse you have. Because horses have their own personalities, their own days. They have good days, they have bad days, and you can't force them to be everything you want them to be every time.
You can't, and it's also like there's a mental perspective there about you wanting to not look at the long term versus this one race, and oh, we didn't do well this race. But it's like, yeah, we only got third, but that's fine because we didn't get dead last. And then the next race you win, and then you look at like after 6 or 7 races, you look at where you are at the end. That's important because this idea of like just speed matters. It's like it's the ability to play quick fix too. Like if you're fast but you can't fix quickly, it kind of negates.
Right.
In my opinion. Again, my opinion, I put, the waiver in the chat if you guys want to read it. I don't know. And then handoffs are a big thing too. Like my mother and I have not missed a handoff in about 5 or 6 years. And it gets back to this thing that I think my mother never went to Australia, but she has an Australian handoff is fine like that. But where they talk about with this bottle here, it's not alcohol, it's bubbly, but the person that holds the object never lets go. And Phil told us over there, like we would break sticks when we played 5 flag in practice. He's like, I want you to be able to break the stick. Because what that means to me is you never let go. The person had to physically take it out of your hand. When you drop is when you try to anticipate it's in their hand and we gingerly let it go, nice and pristine. Yep. And he really would get mad about that. It's like, you want to come in hard and that person has to take it out of your hand. I don't care about your shoulder because you're competing. Take it out of their hand. Because if you do it that way, it's not fun. It can be a little sore, but you won't have those dumb drop-offs because what will end up happening is if you mess up, the person still has it in their hand and they can quick correct. And this has happened with my mom and I before where, we came in, it wasn't perfect. It touched my hands, but she didn't feel me take it out of her hand and she held onto it and she quickly went around me and she gave it back to me.
Right.
Had she just gingerly like let go of it like it was a little bird, all of a sudden one of us had to jump off the horse and all this other crap would have happened. Sword, great example of that. This past 2 weeks ago, it wasn't going to work. We were coming in hot. It wasn't going to work. Instead of risking it, she pulled it back, circle, and handed it off. That was the conservative thing to do. And guess what? It probably saved us a couple of spaces versus you yeet it to hope. And then exactly. I think that mindset there just helps. It's those little things that add up, I think, throughout a weekend.
Yeah. And as he said, I have dropped handoffs between other people because I'm like, okay, I'm not worried about him. His shoulder will be there eventually. In some way or another, it'll be attached to his body. But I will sometimes come in and go, okay, you have it, and I'll let go of it. And they didn't have it yet, or they didn't have enough of it to be able to do it because I didn't carry that mentality of take it from me. I'm not saying that I come in with a brick arm and never give. That's not what he's talking about. But you just make sure that they have a hold of it. And he's right. I've done that. Last August, we were up at MA4 and somehow I managed to hurt my shoulder. It's a family thing. Just picking a bag out of the back of the truck, but I really hurt it. And the next day I'm riding and I had to come in for a handoff and I was so afraid of it. I literally let go of the joust before Kim Wilnack had even a chance to get to it. And it literally was straight up and down and just went down to the ground because I was like, I'm not taking a chance of this. I'm just going to let go. Your hand's close enough. It's a foot away, but who knows?
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it's exactly what he was saying. Have the in or outcoming rider take it, and you have a lot less hand drops. But you're still giving. I want to have that preface that you do still need to give, or you do take
Right.
the person's
I was
shoulder
just
with
about
you.
to say I've practiced with both of you, and the way Tom described it made it sound like you guys are like brick walls. And it's really not at all like that. Like they're still
Right.
like giving the shoulder and everything, and it's still very, very
Because
gentle.
how it happens versus how you need to think it happens is different.
Yeah.
I personally think when I come in for those handoffs and I'm nervous about a handoff, I visualize I'm going to tear it out of their hand. I'm going to grab it and I'm taking Kim Wilniak out of the saddle. I am not doing that, but I need to have that mindset when the handoff comes in. So I'm vicious enough to make sure I hold on to that thing. Now, do you still have to do the proper
As
mechanics?
he said, he did have a preface that in the beginning that this is not the view of Border Patrol.
Yeah.
We don't literally rip our teammates off the saddles and eat them for breakfast.
But the mindset is, I think, and this is what's so important in riding and horses and soccer, doesn't matter, is when someone's coming in hard, if you are nervous, you're screwed.
Yeah, anytime you take the defensive side of something, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You almost have to match the force for force to have a chance.
Yeah. And it's the mentality part of it. If you were, again, I used to be a goalie in soccer, didn't wear a cup. That was a whole another, I was a really good goalie. But the point is, if you were dainty, like, oh no, what's going to happen? You were done. And when someone's coming in hard, I tell myself every time from Australia, I was like, I'm going to tear it out of their hand. This past week, I was like, I'm going to tear it out of their hand, just take them with them. Just make sure you grab it. I still have a gentle handoff, but my mindset, I tell myself, is I have to hype myself up if I won't be dainty. Mm-hmm. If I ever have second guesses out there, 99.9% that's when I make a mistake, is when I second guess.
Right.
If you think, oh no, is this too hard or whatever?
Kimberly says, take it. You can hear this over the ring.
And that is something, that's what we tell each other as we're coming, the outgoing rider, take it from them. Mm-hmm. And that's true. It's a responsibility of the incoming rider to present and give it to the person, but it's also the outgoing rider's responsibility to take it and run with it.
Yeah. And then, and I 100% agree with that. It's just the little things. Like, I'm a very, even if I had a faster horse, or even if I gave Charlie Noctane, based on what I learned in Australia, I'm more of a conservative rider because I do believe in those principles of like, I circle one more time, but I didn't blow it up. And because I feel like I'm not going to lose the people behind me. I won't gain the people in front of me. That's fine, but I won't make the massive mistake. And it was like, we would get in trouble in Australia if you crossed a line early. Like things that were dumb like that. Like you just want to make sure control what you can control. Don't knock over the bucket and quoits. Don't rush a line. Don't blow over a barrel. We're still working on that one. But the fact is, it's you might not be the fastest, but if you make a huge error, it's like that is really hard to recover from versus you didn't get first.
Right.
And I don't know. I like that mindset.
Something I really want to practice doing too, and I think we have a pairs competition coming up that Genevieve's hosting, the Sun and Fun 29th. On the 29th. I would love to, after maybe the first or second session, or if we have a little bit of time or something, practice fixing something quickly and correctly. Not just like anything, barrels, poles, cones, practice having to get off and fix something, because I always have this feeling as soon as I have to get off to fix it, I'm like, oh, we're last. And then my whole personality just slows down and I can't get my head out of the gutter to go, we're still in it, jump, run, and keep the intensity up to get this done.
And
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, there was this one race, we were playing rubber ducky. If people are watching that don't understand that race, there are 3 literally little rubber duckies in a bucket middle field floating in water. And then at the far end of the field on top of a barrel is a little bucket with water in it. riders 1 through 3 grab a duck from the middle and put it at the end. The fourth rider has a bag that they go up and they scoop up all the ducks and they put the ducks in the bag. They have to be in the bags across the line.
Mhm.
Well, this one time I went up and grabbed all 3, and DJ's still running, and I go to put one in, and one duck flies the coop
Oh no.
up and over my back shoulder.
Yeah.
Because DJ's DJ, we stopped, I picked it up, got back on, and went home, and my teammates didn't even realize that I had done this. And it was strictly because I'll beat myself up to no end once I cross the line, but on the game field, I got to correct my mistake. It's got to be quick. And the faster I do it, the less places I lose. I'm not
Right.
necessarily still going to be first,
Right.
but I know that I can keep my team in it if I hustle.
Right. Yeah. And that's just something that I feel like we never practice. We don't go out there, and anytime like I make a mistake, even during my practice, I'm like, it's no big deal. And I just let it there, and I'll get off and just walk over and gradually
Mhm.
pick up the bottle that came off the barrel, whatever, and put it back on. But I really want to try to start practicing like
The fix.
as if it was a competition, fixing the mistake.
Mhm.
Because I think it's going to
Yeah.
make a difference. It's going to help take us up kind of like the next level to practice that for the pony's sake too.
Yeah, when Genevieve was first riding, I cannot remember her last name, and Genevieve can chime in. It was Michelle. She coached the kids, and that was part of their practice. Was you're practicing. If you mess up, you practicing fixing it too. It's not just a casual let's go out and ride. And it was the same mentality for when I played soccer for so many years. Was you're only as good in the game as you are in practice.
Michelle
So
Riley.
yes, Michelle Riley. And it's the same thing with horses. If you're practicing, you're only going to be as good in the game as you are as your practice. So if you practice, as you say, fixing things quickly, mentally, you keep yourself in the game because
Right.
you know, hey, I can fix this because I did.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you know how your horse is going to react to it because some horses get really freaked out,
Mm-hmm.
like Snowflake. If you drop a bottle and it hits the ground, you have to be very careful because it upsets him. It
Mm-hmm.
literally really fries his brain a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you drop a sock, he's like, oh, I don't care. So you learn those different things.
Right. Right. Every horse responds a little bit differently. And I feel like anytime I have to get off Remington in the middle of the field, his personality just changes and he kind of mentally fries out too when we're actually competing. So that's something I think is going to be a good practice for him too.
Yeah, because like one thing that might help you, with Remy is Carol Ann, when she was bringing up Puck, one thing she couldn't do is rush to get back on because it freaked him out.
Yeah.
And I have seen it, like as soon as the Remington thinks the race is over, he's like, oh, you can get on. I don't care.
Right. Right.
So maybe there's a way you can practice rushing to put things together, but I'll breathe and just say, relax body language so you can get on and then take off. And that way, maybe he'll let you.
Yeah. What I've been doing for my vaults, which has been interesting at home, is I have been riding him in just a neck rope and
Mhm.
or just just like a grab strap, just no bridle whatsoever. I don't even put a bridle on his face, and I tell myself I'm going to practice vaulting today. And that prevents me from being able to pull him back, and I will just grab the grab strap and his mane and just hop on him so he doesn't feel like he needs to beat me with his face. And that's actually been helping a little bit. So I'm hopefully going to get more successful with that, and then jumping off and jumping on. And he's just a different creature at home. He's a little
So
peaceful angel.
now you need to put the bridle on while you do that, because that is a big trigger, because
Yes.
he goes, oh, I have the bridle on, so now you're going to do that.
Right. Right.
Because he's a smart.
He's
critter.
a very smart boy. I know.
Not necessarily in a good way.
Tom, any closing thoughts? You've been quiet.
I wasn't going to interrupt you guys while you were jiving with the conversation. It had nothing to do with me, honestly. Was there a question for me or anything like that?
No, we've just reached our hour, which is usually when we close out. I just want to make sure you didn't have any closing thoughts.
Oh, them rookie numbers. Let's see. Training principles are always good. What is that Carol Ann message?
Carol Ann says training principle is that you always do what they have trouble with over and over again until they see that it's not a problem. So true. And then Zoe said, keep the bridle on and just take the reins off. That's also a good point. I like that idea.
I don't know how much I can add when it comes to training, except vocal training, but I can talk about team stuff where it's like, you don't have to ride every race. I, again, am a sports background. You have these things in baseball called closers and starters. Like one will come in just for 2 innings and they're perfectly happy. Some people will start the game. And I think in riding, there's this weird thing, like unless you ride this equal amount, it's like it's a terrible weekend. It's like, so you want to purposely ride games you suck at? Like, what's the fun in that? Like, I know that there's games personally that I'm bad at, and I feel guilty if I had to ride them in front of 1,000 people and hurt my team's chances. Like, it doesn't mean like I don't want to ride them. At Jenny's Paris competitions, Fun in the Sun, link in the episode description, I will do things like that to practice. But I think that's a difference in team mentality where it's like, I personally feel like I'm okay with not riding if I don't bring value to the team. And if that means I don't ride a bunch of races, that's fine, as long as it's okay with teammates.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I agree. But when you have 5 people...
I agree, but...
that have pretty much equal skills, equal ponies, I agree with trying to make it an even playing field about everybody trying to ride the same amount.
Didn't we just play a game on who did it better and I lost every round? And you're like, but we're all equals.
No, I said your strong suit is the vaulting races and the eye and hand coordination. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
You're young.
You're young.
Your strength is you're under 50. You bounce when you fall. Lean into that.
Genevieve says there's one last ribbon to be distributed. So if either of you can think of a good question to ask as we close out for this evening. Genevieve says, and speed, Tom's horse is faster. Yes.
Okay, fine. I don't agree with that at all.
Goes back to youthfulness. Charlie's younger. And he's larger. He has longer legs.
Longer legs. Remember DJ putters.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a big stride.
DJ's just like bloop, bloop, bloop. And Charlie really reaches.
He's like riding on top of a popcorn machine. DJ.
Mm-hmm.
It's a consistent vibration on top. It is.
Right.
Yes.
Can you guys name the colored ribbon that Jenny used in her first ever ribbon?
Do you know?
I don't have to know.
If you don't know, then how do you
Jenny?
it?
She's everywhere. She's behind the damn camera. Fine. Here's a good one. This is an oldie. There was a competition that was held in the
Wow.
There was an old school competition that was held with Linda Ahrens in Washington, D.C. There was a lot of OG important people. If you can name all of the crazy OG riders that were on that team, you get to win a prize. There are some really cool ones in that group that I don't think they ride anymore, but that's a fun question.
I don't think I even know the answer to this one.
Of course, you weren't around or born.
I've done my research.
I'll give you a hint.
Genevieve says all of them. How about like 2 of them?
No, because that's not fair. Okay.
You know the names to all of them, Tom? What?
What's the comment?
That's it.
Name
Genevieve says all of
name
them.
two.
Carol Ann and Linda Ahrens were on the team, followed by who else?
Krista, me, Kim. We are 4-man.
Hickok and Adderholt.
Caroline
You're
keeps,
going way back
Caroline keeps
to
answering
Good Time
questions
Girls.
right, so she gets a ribbon in general.
Yes! That was the next question. Dang it. It's gonna be the Good Time Girls. Okay, fine.
right.
This is
You want a really hard one, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure anybody that's listening. Who is on the first two fossil teams? Name one of the two pairs.
Ooh, that's good. Pairs teams, right?
Oh,
Kimberly will know
and
this.
fossils.
Oh, pairs? So it's only 4 riders altogether.
There was
Well,
four.
I
of
thought
them.
you did your research, Carly. Oh no, she had a stroke again. Damn it.
I was just clarifying whether the question was pairs or larger teams, Tom.
Fine. How about this?
What's the longest competition we have had most heats?
It was a nationals. I think it was a nationals competition. 2016, 2017.
I don't know. When
We
Linda
had
comes back.
4 or 5 heats, I believe.
Oh no, poor Linda. Kimberly says that Diane Hickok, Kim Wilniak, Linda Ahrens, and Michelle are. Oh, Caroline says Diane and Krista.
Oh, here's a great one. Okay, here we go. This is the question.
Was that the answer or
Who
not?
you got it?
Was that the answer or not?
I don't-
Diane and Krista.
I don't know. They had a stroke right there. The person that knows just had a stroke.
Oh, okay.
So here's the new question. Who broke their leg and who broke their hip? Was it Krista, Kimberly Tracy, Brian Adderholt, Reagan, Michelle, Carol Ann, or Thomas? Out of all those names, which
There she
one
is.
broke their leg and which one broke their hip?
I know the answer.
So again, which one broke their leg? Was it Krista, Kimberly Tracy, Jenny Ahrens, Diane Hickok, and who broke?
Kimberly Tracy said it was Krista. Leg, Michelle, hip, Thomas is just broken.
There you go. Kimberly just won the ribbon. There you go.
Yay, Kimberly. Good job.
All right. Well, so it's just me, her, and the blackout screen then to sign off, I guess.
Me and her.
This will be the new
Linda?
thumbnail for the re-upload is we're just going to draw
that.
Linda's face right there.
Linda said her sister called her and it kicked her out. She did come back for a split second, but I don't think she knew she was there. I do want to be able to close out with her.
Yeah.
So I'll
Would you
wait.
want to go through all the chats then real quick just to check to see if there's
Yeah.
ones we did?
Yep. Let's see.
I hate my vault, by the way.
Your vault, because, I mean, honestly, it's a dude vault. Guys
What is
just float right back up into the saddle.
that?
Your
Not-
whole body moves. Why are you getting all hot and steamy? What's going on?
I don't know why I want to get a new light, but could you share the screen, please?
Sure. Okay. Oh, yeah, that was from MA2, wasn't it? Just recently.
And this is my issue here, and this is what I've been trying to work on, honestly, is getting, because he cuts underneath me, and what you'll watch here is as soon as I drop, he wants to cut.
Yeah.
And so what I have learned how to do is, and this is because of my mother, by the way, showing me this, is I really push, and I take this hand here and I push his head down and away, try to keep him to run straight, but I also get up on top of it. I used to, because I was taught, is to get off by like the last pole. Try to get off by the last pole. Best case scenario. To get right to here for it, which this is actually, I did this extremely well, which is shocking to me. I get up to here, but like, I just feel like I don't jump.
You do? Look at you. You just jump right up into the saddle. You almost overvaulted him. Go back. To like you jumping off. Okay, you dunk. You could get off a little bit quicker. Because, see, you almost didn't turn your hips in time. And then almost overvaulted. Do you see that?
That was good.
And then your handoff with Linda was solid. Oh, that was a great representation of you and Linda riding together.
Yeah, I was going to save that for us for the sign-off, but then she stroked out, so... Whoops.
Do you have any other videos to share of MA2?
I do. If you want to disappear the screen real quick, I'm going to stop screen right there while I get that up real quick. I don't have a lot of videos. I think you have all of the videos.
Yeah, but I don't have them on my desktop, so I can't share them.
Is a shame. Do you have a Facebook page, by the way?
I do.
Oh, awesome. Is there anything there? What did you think of your competition? You got to ride with your team. You weren't actually, sadly, in that team conversation last weekend, correct?
I was there last week.
Oh, I thought it was just Jenny and 2 other people for the MA2.
I would have been the other person. I was there. It was me, Jace, and Genevieve.
Chase?
Jace?
Oh, I thought Annie was there too.
No.
I don't know what I was watching, but I was watching the
I
nerd.
don't either.
Oh, what did that just say?
Genevieve says Linda is pulling the plug and not joining back in. Oh, so sad.
Well, Linda came in the way she went out. Just black light.
Oh my gosh. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Really appreciate all the comments and participation. Can't wait to see you all next week. Thanks for joining with us, Thomas. Have a good night.
Bye.